Hi, this is James Gardner, the CineTechGeek, and today's video is a walkthrough of AutoKDM. Basically a set and forget tool for cinema exhibitors, so they never have to ingest a KDM again. They'll just simply know that if a KDM has been sent to them via an email, that KDM has been ingested into the target players. And if there's any issues in doing so, there's ways to see what's going wrong or warning emails to tell you something's not right. So let's have a quick look or overview of how it works. Now, it's part of the Catcher tool, which is a free tool to download. I'll have a link below. But basically, just quickly, we can see here that this is a development site, and there's some KDMs being ingested by the solution, and they're listed here. Now, if we go through there's a manual which goes over mostly how it all works, just a quick overview of what it's doing, and then there's a configuration file. So we wanted to quickly go through the configuration file. Now, you can actually push edit, and then you can change the fields. You can actually completely disable the tool if you want to turn it off for a bit. This tells you how often to check the mail server. It's got information on what these fields mean, how many times to contact the IMAP server to download any potential emails. The projection network IP, which is used for the players to talk to the catcher. Usually you'll have a multi-homed server, and you just want to tell it, okay, this is the IP address that everything should be talking to you on. If you are using it in conjunction with so it might be a backend server, it actually supplies extra services which allows it to identify KDMs with more detail and description. Typically not many people have that, but that's something that I've added to the solution to make it more descriptive. So it tells you if a KDM is associated with a particular movie by looking it up in an online database. Delete KDMs after many days after they're expired. So it'll only delete them if it's 100 days after the ending of the KDM period. It'll then delete the KDM in the database, so it just doesn't keep growing. So how to send reports. So I said before, many different types of reports can be sent, and you can basically set the type of reports and how often that you want them to be sent here. Nightly report emails to send to when these reports are made. Then some maintenance. This is for the AutoKDM, the KDM-Alert, which I'll go through in another video. And then there's some administration tools just to clean up databases or delete them. Now, also you need to know before you can actually ingest KDMs into your players is, as part of the Catcher tool, you need to set up all the screens that are connected or accessible via the Catcher, or the Catcher is going to service KDMs for. This is a development system, so I'm pointing it at a lot of different machines, and you can basically come in here, edit them, and turn it on and off depending on what you're using them for. This system also does other parts when you actually add a screen, you actually have to get the certificate, and from the certificate it works out the common name or how it's identified. And basically in a KDM, it's the common name which identifies the target of the KDM. So basically, if a common name, if the KDM targets the common name of a player, it knows that it's supposed to ingest it into that player, and that's how it really identifies it. And it does other things here when you're adding screens. There's other features. There's a just to go on about the Catcher tool, it helps you identify machines. It helps you track what's on a particular location. It's got an auto discovery tool and other bits and pieces. But at the end of the day, realistically, all AutoKDM needs is for you to enter the sites in here, what type of site it is. Obviously, we support different types of players. All these types of players can be used. Dolby, Barcode, GDC, and Cube it will ingest into automatically, yeah. So that's how you need to actually configure in all the screens when you are going to use this tool. And you can tell it by turning off features here to the audit system if you want this screen to be audited or not. AutoKDM obviously is turned on here. Also, there's a status screen to keep track of every particular machine and what it's doing at a particular time. There's another part of the tool set. It's not important. It's really we're just looking at AutoKDM is enabled, and the screen is configured in here with the correct common name. You can actually pull it. If you know the IP address and you know that the system type, you can basically tell it to actually pull the certificate directly from the machine if you really want to. So it's very easy. You don't have to try and figure out what this certificate is or anything. You just need to know the IP address, the type of machine it is, and the software will do the rest for you when you add the screens. So when the screens are added, that's when all the magics start happening. So AutoKDM sucks in the KDMs, adds them into here, and then every time it runs or checks for new KDMs, it'll also try and ingest the KDMs which are outstanding from being ingested into any target player that's in the system. So in the end, basically this thing just runs in the background. Any KDM that's sent to you will make it into the target player that KDM is for. And if you don't have a KDM for a particular player, it'll probably email you saying that I've received a KDM for a target. I don't know what it is. So if you someone starts sending you KDMs you don't know what they're for, the system can be programmed to email you the fact that you've been sent weird KDMs. All those sort of things, because anytime something unusual happens, it tries to warn you, because typically if something's unusual is happening, there's probably a problem somewhere and it needs to be accounted for or tracked down. So that's how AutoKDM works. Now the big thing about KDMs is they do go wrong, right? And so when KDMs do come in, let's look at a live solution here. KDMs, these are live KDMs coming in, and you can see here there's all green dots everywhere, the time it arrived, the date that it's valid to and from, and if it's ingested or not, and the time or date it was ingested. Typically, was it 3:05:08, 3:06:09? Took a minute between the time it arrived to being ingested into the machine, and obviously it's doing a lot of all the other machines at the same time. So, and the other thing too is that if, for example, you're sent a KDM that you don't know what it's for, it'll come up here and basically indicate that this KDM has no target, and give you an error. Or if you've got a KDM for a machine and it doesn't, like you might have a film, so I've got a KDM for this film. You can easily find the film, the screen that it was targeting, and then you can have a look at the details of the KDM. For example, it may be a KDM for a version of the film you don't have. So you can actually quickly come in here, have a look. If that may have been the problem, or whatever the problem may be, you've got all the data at your fingertips here about the KDM. You can come down here, and for every KDM that gets ingested, if you do need to contact the owner or the person in charge of the KDM, it keeps track of the data connected with the KDM. So this KDM came from Deluxe, it's got all the contact information and all the information in terms of credits, etc. That's signed to that KDM, so you can look that up. Or if it gets even more technical, you can have a look at the KDM source or the email source to get really deep into the weeds of reasons why something may not be working. It's more for an engineer to look at, but the tool is designed that if something does go wrong, you've got all the tools at your disposal to figure out why it went wrong and to contact the right person to fix it. It's designed to make that as easy as possible. So yeah, that's AutoKDM. I hope you like the tool. It's designed to be used as a as a full KDM solution or a backup to your current TMS KDM solution. It is designed to be set and forget, so it just sits in the background and sends you reports every morning to tell you what's going on and to potentially warn you if something looks a little bit strange or isn't working as expected. Now this does lead on to the next video about a KDM-Alert, because getting KDMs is one thing, but knowing you've got the right KDMs and the KDMs for your schedules are all correct, or all the sessions you've got are correct, that's part of the next tool. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. This is James Gardner, the CineTechGeek.